Yo! What's going on, guys? Um, bro, I forgot about bro, I forgot to start the video, bro. Now it's been a crazy week, bro. A lot of crazy stuff's happening, so you already know what it is. It's Grim Reaper back, reassuring you the greatness is still here, and it will not falter. Now, the surprise of the day is that today, already about 15 minutes ago, the chapter 133, The Raw, is released. Yes, it's out. So I have to do the prediction video. I couldn't do it yesterday because I was preoccupied, and we actually didn't know that the channel was gonna drop today. I was expecting a Friday release for tomorrow or a Monday release. So you're probably gonna get 2, maybe even 3 videos today, starting with this prediction video. So without further ado, remember to check out our links in the description for our Patreon, our Discord. If you want to support the family, you guys can just join there. And please subscribe below. Or subscribe, hit the red subscribe button. Just like click that bitch. Just like click that bit there. All right, now this chapter isn't necessarily one that has like the biggest hints for it. We pretty much have the essential clues as to like what should be the big, like, gargantuan plot points that we should be expecting, waiting, or anticipating. They're most likely gonna have to do with either Orochi breaking the union between Psychos and himself, the defeat of Tatsumaki, or the interference of Saitama. Those are 3 of the most likeliest incidents that I see occurring. And they pretty much have to happen, maybe in that sequence. Maybe one of them, or maybe even multiples of those options could happen. But what I wanted to really focus on before that point is the implications of God. Now, in a previous video, we did talk about like maybe some of the theories and some of the ideas that people have been spewing out about the God character in general. We pretty much confirm that he is indeed a force, like a strong like dominant character. He's not like some just mysterious effect, or we're confusing him for something else. That's not the case. It seems like we confirm he's an individual character. And with that being the case, I got to thinking, after talking to some boys in the Discord, about possibly like what else has God done? Because I mentioned in a previous video that if you do a reread, and in the sequential reread, you'll see on the cover page, I forgot what chapter it is, but there's a huge cerebral depiction of Orochi's goo in fusion with Psychos at the moment that they joined. And at that moment, it seems to be of great correlation with what actually happened with Sairochi, God, and Orochi in terms of like the visuals, what they were literally visually seeing during the fusion, during that interaction. So my speculation was that, well, it wasn't my speculation. Somebody else actually brought it up, but it connects with a bunch of the things that I speculated with. So let me just start with that, right? Kishin Prime, a member of the One Punch podcast, and it's not just him. Others have said as well, but he primarily was championing the idea that Vaccine Man may also have some affiliation with God. Because when you do a reread of the dialogue of Vaccine Man, the parallels are like undeniable. Like he's talking about Mother Earth, he's talking about like the destruction of humanity, how the guilt of humanity, the sin of humanity, like all those things are correlating to God's prerogative. So it wouldn't be crazy to see that, like, or to think that Vaccine Man really came from God. So with that, like, I think stronger theorem than a lot of the other ones that I've heard so far. If that were to hold some weight, what else holds weight? How far do the occurrences and the interference of God go into the story? So I did a little bit of reading, and I actually wanted to do a video essay about this topic. So I may actually do that to get more in depth. But to sprinkle into maybe even like just crack the ice a little bit on the idea. Simply put, there has to be a point at which we clearly mark where there isn't an influence of God, right? But The peculiarity of the entire series, or the mystery of the entire series, is the appearance of these monsters. Same thing in Solo Leveling. It's the same thing in a lot of series that readers don't really think about or hone in on because there are other like more pressing plot points or the stories directing you to a different viewpoint. But the fact of the matter is that there were monster occurrences before Saitama encountered Crablante. There were monster occurrences before the formation of the Hero Association. Those things were happening. And we were even told that the escalation of monsters was growing over time. That we're not only seeing more frequent appearances of monsters, but the appearances were becoming more disastrous and those creatures were becoming tougher. To the point where they'd finally encounter a demon, I believe it was. And then as so on and so forth, we got to the highest of dragons, which haven't been revealed to the general public yet or to the association yet, but we have encountered them. Such as like Rover, for example, who has not been revealed to the association, but we've encountered them. He's prime example. And then you take Elder Centipede as a contrary example. Like, he's been revealed to the association because we have knowledge of an encounter with Blast in him in the past, and he's also with the Monster Association. So there's both there. We've seen the difference in scaling as well. So we've seen a dragon level monster in Vaccine Man in the beginning of the story, and we're seeing dragons now. So there isn't anything. It's consistent. That's what makes this idea so like plausible in my eyes, because I'm not just saying that like if a character has the same dialogue as like what this god character's motives seem to be, that they're going to be affiliated, but like who else is affiliated with him? What other actions or what other representations can be affiliated with that topic? Like, I don't want to just disregard, or I'm not gonna act as if like the Subterraneans are somehow like spawned from God. That's not. I'm not going like that far, that deep into the rabbit hole. That's. I don't think you can come out of there sensibly. We still have to stay within the realm of like a Murata in one's thinking. But like, is God the cause of like the growing splurges of monsters? Like, we've seen him give dragon level powers. Homeless and Sairochi are both examples of amplifying individuals. Whether it's that Homeless was at 0 and he got to a dragon level, so that will be the expanse of how much stronger God can make you, or whether it's we're talking about a fusion of an above dragon already, a high dragon in Psychos, and now Sairochi cutting the earth. Like, whatever designation you want to give them, disaster level you want to give them is fine. But like, there seem to be two clearly different levels of power-ups there. Like, Sairochi seemed a lot more powered up than Homeless got powered up. So, if that range is so wide there, like, is it really crazy to think that, like, he could not also be spawning numerous amounts as well? Like, not just in, like, amplitude or, like, strength, potency, but in a numerical value as well. What if, like, a lot of the fodder that we're seeing may come from God? What if, and then you'll have to take my word, and please do a reread to confirm this. Check these chapters in particular. I think it's chapter 93, 94, 95. This is when we first began the monster invasion, when we're first breaking through the gate with the heroes, and when we see the lineup of monsters. Pay attention to the designs of all the monsters and all the fodder. They're different. And I believe this has already been specified. I believe that you guys should have knowledge of this already. But the monsters are different. There are natural-born monsters. There are monsters that are mutated. You guys already know those differences. But even the fodder in particular have different designs. The ones in chapter 93, 94, 95 are different than the ones in chapter 100, the Zombie Man chapter. Those are two very different-looking creatures. Look at them. Take that into perspective. All I'm simply saying is that those different design or the aesthetics of those fodder monsters, what if that's because of God? What if those monsters are spawned from him? Pretty sure some of those monsters want to just kill humans, right? That's just a crazy little theory, a crazy prediction. And like I said, these prediction videos, they're often supposed to be accurate, but there's no reason why I can't throw in a theory in there. And I've been thinking about that. Like, it doesn't have to be true. It may not be true, but like, I think it would be a waste to just have somebody who gave Homeless powers, gave Sairochi powers. Oh, he's strong. Like what is Saitama just gonna approach him and just be like, whatever? Like, because I don't think anybody else can fight him. Like, you're giving these kinds of powers, like, no, like, That's not no. I don't see Blast getting involved. There's like no hint of like any like additional arrival. We're, I'm not expecting Tatsumaki to get the deep sea treatment or the Genos treatment in deep sea. The excuse me, the Moomin Rider treatment in his place instead, like where she fucking gets just thrashed by Sairochi, like about to die, and then like Saitama comes in to save him. Like I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think Blast is gonna come in to save her. Like I don't think that's gonna happen. I think she'll keep fighting and maybe even win without getting that close to death. Maybe, but like, isn't this guy just like defeated then? Like, cause his two pawns are like, or is the entire story just gonna be keep seeding like monsters? Like, when are we gonna confront this character that is God? And like, when we do, are we gonna see like his minions around him and shit like that? Like, is he like, how did he give Sairochi and these people this power? Like, was it telepathically? Like, cause he wasn't there physically. It didn't seem like. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know the extent of this creature's powers. We just know that it wants to kill all of humanity. That's pertinent. It seems to be in the defense of Earth. Whether that's the case or not, I don't see Atomic beating him. I don't see Flashing beating him. I don't see Darkshine beating him. I don't see Tatsumaki beating him. Orochi was a badass design and powerful, but he's been outmatched now with this presentation. So Psychos and Orochi together make this, and I'm assuming that God is probably going to be stronger than this. This should be the first God level threat. Coincidentally, has the name God. That's the part that makes me skeptical. Like, the first character we name God is going to be the God level threat. Really? That seems too cliche, bro. Like, too spot on. That's all I'm saying for that. Like, I'm not doubting that he could be a god. I'm just like, what is really going on with this character? Because like, I don't think it's gonna be a god level threat, but maybe he is a god level threat. Maybe God is a god level threat. Maybe it is a true, the real God. I don't think it's like the real like the Christian God, or maybe even like the God over there. I don't know. I don't know, bro. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what's going on here, bro. I just think that like, if we can go all the way back to homeless, if niggas can like seriously, honestly, like with facts and panels apparently claim that vaccine may really be affiliated with God, then who else, bruh? Like, please, like if you've had the time to check that by now, or like in the video, I'm being serious. Go throughout the story, the different arcs, even at random times. Take the deep sea. Please pay attention in particular to what I'm about to say, because I'm going to try to list all the examples that should be different, where we see different types of fodder. That's what I'm pointing out. Just scour through your memory of the different types of fodder that you've seen, and they look different. They look starkly different, and there's groups of them. A group of fodder is going to look similar, but sometimes they look different than a different group of fodder. That's the case. That's all I'm pointing out. I forgot, like, I want to say there's like a designation to where like some are born naturally monsters. It's hard to really like tell out, man. Like, but with that being said, we're still in the mist in regards to whether Tatsumaki tanked or dodged the blast. It seems like Murata 1 wants to make it unconsequential, and maybe we should be looking at that viewpoint regardless. But I can't help but think that it matters. If it's not going to matter, then I'm pretty sure they're going to find a different way to address that, like, you know, by presenting another beam where she almost gets hit, or like where she actually tanks one and then gets knocked down, to make it clear that like, no, she can't take these, or like we see how she's dodging whatever more in depth, whatever it may be, or maybe they adjust with dialogue like, oh, is that how he dodged my other attack before? Like, whatever it may be, if they're saying it's not going to be that important to like really know like how she got around that attack, then it gives credit to Tatsumaki. Like, yeah, she's cutting the earth, but Tatsumaki didn't just lay down when it got thrown at her. That's the biggest sign of like competence, and I think that's the best way narratively to like show that a character can win. Like, to where even though it seems perilous, never in the fight was he actually in a position where like he just was helpless. Like whenever like those storylines do it like that, to where like a character like he always had the upper hand or like the trump card in his arsenal, but the entire fight was just his ability to access that upper hand or whatever. That's cool. Maybe not that exact trope exactly, but like that's what I'm getting at. That like I don't. The fact that she was able to dodge this or tank this attack gives me hope that she'll be able to take on Sairochi successfully, or at least get the assistance of Saitama, and she won't be embarrassed in the result of this fight, and that maybe it's gonna take a higher escalation of God giving somebody powers to to really require the fight or to really take out Tatsumaki if that's the case, or whatever the final goal is. With that being said, like the video, whenever the translators get done with it, I'll be doing the live reaction for it. So within like the next 4 to 5 hours, you'll be getting a live reaction for it. If you guys want to read along, don't read the chapter ahead of time. I'll make sure the links and everything's in the description. And we'll see y'all boys, man. Subscribe, boys. Yo ho!